Have you ever thought about how much dating and looking for a good job have in common? In her book, How to Score a Date with Your Potential Employer, author Yolanda Owens takes a look at that question. Tell us a little bit about how the job hunt is a lot like dating.
I remember being in college and going on my first set of interviews and thinking that this is just like a bunch of blind dates. So I instantly started equating the whole dating process with the interview process. It's very much the same, where you're going out there, you're putting on your best foot forward, you're putting on your suit, you're going out there and you're trying to impress someone so they'll want to go out with you or form a relationship with you. And it's no different than when you're interviewing with a company. It's the same scenario where you're going out there, you want them to like you, to be interested in you enough to bring you onto their company and build that relationship. So it's the very, very same premise.
Yolanda, in your book, you talk about scoping out the territory. Tell us a little bit about that.
The most effective way to do that is to really tap into your 6 degrees of separation, meaning that the people who are already in your inner circle, and if your friends are already in a relationship, so to speak, meaning that they already have a job, they're probably the best people to network with. Your single friends are going to be your competition, so you don't want to fraternize with them too much.
Well, Yolanda, in dating, we always hear a lot about the pickup lines. You talk about that in your book as well in reference to finding a job. Tell me some of the best pickup lines.
Some of the best pickup lines. I think those develop with time, and if you want to develop great pickup lines, it's great to find out a little bit about someone before you go out on that interview. So if you know the interviewer's name ahead of time or who you're going to be speaking with and the series of interviews that you're going through, take this time to kind of channel your inner 007 and do a little Google search on them or look them up on LinkedIn to find out, what their hobbies are, what they've done in their career, so that way you can have some small talk when you're speaking with them.
Now, an important part of any job search is the resume. Tell me, what are some of the things that you should include on your resume?
What you do want to highlight are some of the key deliverables that you've done during that position. So each of the positions that you have, whether it be an internship or a full-time job that you had, what you want to do is take a look at those things that you've done really well in the position and highlight the top 2 to 3 things. Those should be your first bullet points that you're putting on your resume. And you want to try to quantify them any way that you possibly can. So whether you had a leadership role or you improved a process or you helped to make something better within the office, those are the types of things that you want to showcase, because again, those are the types of things that the employers are looking for.
We hear a lot about social networking these days. How can social networking help in finding a job?
Social networking is definitely a hot topic out there today, and I tell people who are planning to use social networking that it shouldn't be the end-all be-all for your job search. There are a lot of people who just solely want to put their things out there on the job boards, or solely go into LinkedIn looking for people to connect with, or Twitter or Facebook. You can't just use that as the sole means of finding a position. They're great platforms to get you in the door and also to start making contacts and connections, but you also need to have some face time with individuals.
Okay, so you finally score that interview with a potential employer. What are some of the things that you should not do when you go to the interview?
You definitely don't want to show your frustration. You want to put your best foot forward the first time and the 99th time that you go out there and you go on that interview. I know it's very hard if your ego's getting bruised, but again, you want to show that same enthusiasm as that first interview that you go on, as well as that 50th interview that you go on. One key way to do that is to formulate some stories about yourself that showcase your leadership capabilities, what you're able to do and what you can bring to the table. So think about some of the key projects that you worked on, people that you've worked with, some difficult situations that you've had on the position. Tell a little story about that and make sure that there's stories that you're going to be excited and enthusiastic to tell about, because that'll shine through every time and you'll always hit it right out of the park when you're going on those interviews.